What's up, everybody? We are live for UFC 252. Going to be breaking this down, giving my final thoughts, going over the weigh-ins, going over some bets as well. Also some Draftkings. Coming off a very good week, went 4 on one of my bets. Hopefully, we get to continue this success on this card. It's a great card. As we know, we already have one of those fights off the card, Kutabella versus Ankalaev, but we have a new fight added. I'll go over that a little bit more here. As always, make sure you guys can smash that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't yet. Would really appreciate that a ton. And we're going to go through the card here, fight by fight, starting with the first fight of the night, Kamaka Kelly. As always, you guys can ask questions throughout the stream. I'll try to answer them the best as possible. And, so have 5 bets for this card. Might add another one sometime tomorrow, but 5 as of now. I like them quite a bit. Going to be going over them as we get there. But thank you all for hanging out with me on this Friday evening. What's up, Leo? What's up, Brandon? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Stellar? What's up, Leafs fan? All right, so we're going to start with the first fight of the night and just kind of work our way up. I'm not going to lie. This is a tough DraftKings slate, and it's a tough, card for betting as well. There's really, not many spots as I, originally thought. But I do have 5 bets. I digged in quite a bit, and I do have 5 spots I like. But, starting with the first fight of the night, and you guys know I have I love for the first fight of the night. It seems like it always, ends up on that optimal lineup somehow. But I don't know about this one. I mean, when I first made my prediction, I went with Kelly. I was not able to get much tape in on Kamaka. I went back and watched, all the tape on Kamaka and, still wasn't too impressed. He's a low-volume fighter. He has really good wrestling, very good top control. But when he was on top, he just wasn't doing much. He wasn't looking for advances. He wasn't really looking for submissions. He wasn't throwing many strikes on the ground, and that does not translate well to DraftKings. And 8,900 when we can go up and get Sean O'Malley, when we can go down and get Murad, we can get Herbert Burns, we can get Brown. I'm not going to be playing much Kamaka. This is going to be a really low-owned fight for me, and I think it's going to be low-owned in general. But if I had to pick somebody to target in this fight, it's going to be Tony Kelly. So Kamaka has 1 finish on his record. It was by submission. Everything else is a decision. It's not very dangerous whatsoever. Kelly has finished 80% of his fights overall. He's the more dangerous guy. I think he's the better fighter here, but I see a lot of love on Kamaka. Not going to bet this. Kelly plus 195. It's not an awful bet, but what I think is probably going to happen is Kamaka is going to take down Kelly and just grind on him and maybe get a boring decision. But if they stand and fight on the feet, I like Kelly quite a bit. Kamaka is very, very hittable. But the thing is, I just have a weird feeling Kamaka is going to take him down, just grind on him, not do much. And as we know, that's not going to score well on DraftKings if he gets 3 takedowns in the fight, no advances, maybe lands a couple strikes. And, as we know, fight metric doesn't really count those ground strikes all the time. So I can see this being a very very low scoring decision. So not going to have too much of it on DraftKings. Going to pass from a betting perspective, I think that line's a little too wide. I mean, Kelly looked pretty good to me on tape, and I wasn't all that impressed with Kamaka. But to start off the night, probably going to be very low-owned. And, I wish the Porter-Dawkins fight was the first fight because I do have a feeling that has a chance to end up on the optimal lineup, but not too much interest in that fight. What's up, Dave? What's up, Bo? What is going on with Burns? We'll touch on that in a little bit. He just did not look very good at the weigh-ins. Thank you, sir. Porter, 100% win. It's difficult card to bet. Surprised you found 5 bets. I am as well. There was 2 bets I placed a couple weeks ago, and then there's 3 I just placed recently. But yeah, there are a couple spots I like, but this is a pretty tough card for betting 100%. What's up? Fading the first fight, it's not an awful idea whatsoever. It's going to be low-owned. Personally, I'm not probably going to touch it. Maybe a little bit of Kelly because I do think he's the more dangerous fighter, and if there is a finish, it's probably going to be Kelly, but, man, I don't know. Fading the first fight will be a mistake. Low-owned, first fight, heavyweight. Oh, that's not the first fight of the night. The first fight of the night is now Kelly and Kamaka. The heavyweight fight is now the second fight of the night. So, yeah, you're right. Heavyweight fight probably should have some ownership on that. Kelly only had 1 fight in 4 years. Yeah, that's very true. He just fought someone like last year with a poor record. He won that fight. Before that, he fought Kevin Aguilar. He looked pretty good in that fight, lost a split decision. But, yeah, lots of question marks with Kelly. Kamaka is the more active fighter. So, I don't know. It's a weird fight. Yes, sir. DC looked bad at weigh-ins. We'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, I didn't obviously, compared to Stipe looked amazing at weigh-ins. And, DC looked all right. I mean, it looked like he's been putting in some work, but yeah, Stipe looked a lot better. All right, so not too much interest in that fight from a betting perspective or from a DraftKings perspective, but this fight's interesting. Parker Porter versus Christopher Dawkins, and we'll talk about the weigh-ins a little bit. So I don't know. Porter looked good to me on the scales. Did you guys notice that? Like he looked like he's been lifting some weights or something. Like get on the treadmill. I don't know. He looked good. He looked like he's been putting in some work. As for Dawkins, he weighed in like 240 pounds. He didn't look too good at all. Looked like he pretty much just got off the couch. And I don't know. This is a very sloppy, weird, low-level fight. So I'm not going to touch it from a betting perspective. But on DraftKings, that's kind of like the fights we want to target there because it very well could finish. So, initially, definitely leaning Dawkins, with the more power. I think he's the more athletic fighter. After those weigh-ins, I don't know. I think Porter looks pretty good. So, as for ownership on this fight, I'm probably going to be having a uncomfortable amount of this fight because it does have potential to finish. It's heavyweight, and both these guys are finishers. Both these guys have been finished a combined 6 times. So, might just split it down the middle. Maybe give a little edge to Dawkins since he is the underdog, and there's some value there at 7,700. But I hope somebody does get finished in this fight. I think it could be Dawkins early or Porter if it gets to the second or third round. Dawkins does not have the best gas tank and, honestly just looked like he got up off the couch and got on the scales today. So I don't know. But it is the fight I want to target. Minus 325, fight doesn't go to decision, which is the second best fight doesn't go to decision prop on the card right behind Burns and Pineda, which we'll touch on in a second. Porter is plus 145 inside the distance. Dawkins is plus 165. Don't bet this fight because it really could go either way. It should be, closer to a pick. I mean, that seems where the line is trending there. But, I'm going to be playing it on DraftKings. It could be a very, fun fight where, someone gets finished, or it could be a very sloppy heavyweight fight where they both get very tired and it's a boring decision. But, that we don't know that. I mean, we got to target it because it does have that upside potential. But the pick is Dawkins still. But not confident in that whatsoever, especially after seeing those weigh-ins. Porter looked, decently good at those weigh-ins. Yeah, Porter looked ripped. He looked, compared to his last couple fights, like he looked, good. He looked very good. So, that's interesting to note there. Porter and Dawkins prices for the power and DK are so valuable. You have to be higher on. Exactly. I mean, it's heavyweight. They throw hard. Both of them have finished a ton. You got to target this fight, no matter how ugly it is. What do you think about Porter by KO with FanDuel method of victory insurance? I don't hate that. I just personally would not touch this from a betting perspective. It's just such a low-level fight that I really wouldn't feel comfortable either way. Christopher Dawkins has only fought 3 guys with winning records. All 3 of those guys finished him. Good point there. Didn't touch on it, but yeah, the level of competition, we got to give it to Porter. We got to give the veteran experience to Porter. So yeah, I don't know. Starting to like Porter just a little bit more now. At 8,000, was it 8,500? Yeah, he's going to be lower owned since the line is very close. Dawkins is probably going to be very high owned. So if you want to take an overweight stance on Porter just to be a little bit different, I don't hate that at all. 2 low-level guys, definitely a coin flip. Exactly. What's up? I like the Parker Dawkins under 1.5. I'm assuming it's, a pretty wide line there. Let me know what that is, but yeah, probably. Thank you, Jason. John's coming back off a huge chaos and Ngannou. I feel like he's coming back too early. What do you think about that? We'll touch on it a little bit. I've been hearing that all week, but I mean, good point there. I think you got to lean Porter, decent blocking and pairing, checks, leg kicks, just such a floppy fight. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he probably is the more technical fighter for sure. I don't know. I just think Dawkins is a little more skilled, but just those weigh-ins, just really, really brought me off of Dawkins. Any of the confidence I had in him before, but. Minus 105 for the under. I mean, I don't hate that. I think there's some value there. All right, so again, just no really bets for me in these 2 fights. In this next fight, TJ Brown versus Danny Chavez, another tough fight to call, 3 in a row here. TJ Brown is minus 150. He was like minus 180 earlier in the week. Chavez is plus 140. So Chavez looked very good at the weigh-ins. He looked ripped. He looked ready to go. TJ Brown, he missed weight by like 0.5 pounds. I mean, no big deal. He looked fine. And I don't know. This fight, I feel like, is going to be very exciting. I really like Brown's style. I really like, how he's such a good wrestler. He has a very good ground game. But the things that worry me is, is He's been knocked out 2 times. I've seen him rocked plenty of times. He's been submitted 3 times. And, just found this out. Chavez went to his Instagram. I guess he's a black belt. I mean, he has no submissions on his record, but he's a black belt nonetheless. So that's something to, threw me off a little bit there because, Brown does make some mistakes on the mat. He makes some mistakes on the feet. And I don't know, this is such a tough fight to call. So Chavez won his first 7 fights by decision, and he's finished 3 in a row. There's not much tape out on Chavez whatsoever. I was able to watch maybe 2-3 fights, which I don't really like that at all. The one fight I saw was in like 2016. He got taken down a couple times. He didn't really look like he knew what he was doing on the ground. But that was so long ago. I'm sure he made improvements. So this fight it's such a tough fight to call because there's so many unknowns. As for DraftKings, this is probably, believe it or not, my second or third, favorite fight to target. Brown, he scored 65, 70 points in a loss, a second-round loss to Jordan Griffin, who's no slouch whatsoever in his last fight. He got, 6 takedowns, tons of advances. And if he comes out here and fights smart, gets the fight to the ground, maybe he can do some work on the ground with Chavez. And some lines I want to point out. Minus 165, fight doesn't go to decision. I don't hate that. Maybe look at the under as well. I do have a strong feeling this is probably going to finish due to Brown's durability issues there. And but look at this, plus 1455 for Chavez by submission. And I mean, I think that's some value there actually. So Brown's lost 3 times by submission. He makes plenty of mistakes on the mat. And Chavez, I guess, is a black belt. So maybe Chavez gets his first submission here. I don't know. I think there's value in that. But overall, I am going to pick Brown to win. I think he's going to get multiple takedowns, multiple advances. I think if he wins, he's going to most likely be on the optimal lineup with his, his pace that he puts on, his wrestling pace, and that's something we see score very highly on DraftKings. But at the same time, Danny Chavez at 7,400 on DraftKings is a fantastic play as well. You have the knockout upside. You have the line value there at plus 140. And what is he to win inside the distance? Plus 300, that's good as well for 7,400. So this is definitely a fight. I want to play both sides. I will be playing maybe slightly more Brown because I do think he has more upside. But, Chavez is live for a finish. As for a bet, it's another pass for me. If anything, I would look at the fight doesn't go to decision, or even the under is probably under 2.5 is something I'd look at. I think it was minus 120. And that's something I'm looking at as well. But other than that, it's really hard to pick a side here. My lean is Brown there. So some exciting fights to, start off the card there. Chavez has this in my eyes. I mean, yeah, he's very live, but man, I don't know. Brown looks really good. If he can, clean up some stuff, I think he'll be a pretty solid fighter there. Chavez looked hungry. Yeah, I noticed that as well. The JDS is a black belt too. He doesn't use it. No, he does not. If Chavez gets a 3rd round KO sub, will he be in the optimal lineup? It depends what happens in those first 2 rounds. Like if Brown takes him down and, dominates him for, the first round and then the second round, and then he gets a late 3rd round finish after Brown maybe gets tired or makes a mistake. Maybe he scores 60. No, at that point, no. But if it's a close fight and he does get that 3rd round KO or sub, yeah, I'll hit value there and, maybe be on the optimal lineup. Chavez obviously better play on FanDuel than Kelly. Yeah, I like both. But for sure, Chavez over Kelly. Chavez has more upside. In the Kelly fight, I just feel like it could be a boring fight with Kamaka just laying on him for, 10 minutes or more there. What do you think about Dawson as an underdog? We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, we'll move on to the next fight here. And by the way, guys, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. You guys can follow me I'm on Instagram now, DFS by the numbers. My DMs are always open for any questions. I'm going to be posting my bets out there sometime tomorrow. And if I add another bet like I did last week on Saturday, I will let you guys know. I added the James fight. Fight doesn't go to decision. The James Tucker fight. So that was something I added later. So make sure you guys follow me so you do not miss out on all of that. And so those first 3 fights. The ones I'm most interested in are the Brown fight, the Chavez fight, the Porter and Dawkins, those 2. Not too much in the Kamaka Kelly. And then we're approaching a fight I really don't want to play on DraftKings or have, want to bet as well. Gina Jandiroba versus Felice Herrig, minus 290 is just absolutely insane. By the way, this is not a card to go out here and do parlays. I personally have 0 parlays for this card. I'm not even really confident with a 2-legger this week. That's how close some of these, matchups are. And, some of these lines are way too wide to go out there and parlay these fighters. So minus 290 is, pretty wide. I think she wins. I think she wins with her wrestling on the feet. If, Herrig can stop those takedowns, I think it could be close. But, Jandiroba, has very good wrestling, a very good ground game, and I think that's where it plays out. Maybe she finds a submission. Her submission prop is plus 255. Herrig on DraftKings, 7,200, not too interested in it. I think there's a lot more upside plays that we can target down in this range, in the 7,000 range. And as for Jandiroba at 9,000, I think she'll be the lowest owned up in that range. Maybe she finds a submission. Maybe she's able to get takedowns. For that reason, I will have some. But other than that, not going to be heavily owned on this fight. Probably just going to sit back and watch it for the most part. I see people taking some shots on Herrig, and yeah, I don't hate that. Plus 260. If she can stop those takedowns, I think she's the better striker. And she looked in phenomenal shape at weigh-ins like always. But Jandiroba did as well. She looked very good at weigh-ins as well. So I feel like it'll be a semi-close fight. Don't really see why Jandiroba is a minus 290 favorite, but I do think she wins. I'm not confident enough to bet it, not confident enough to put it in a parlay, but I'm just going to sit back and watch. As for any props that stick out, I guess, plus 255 that's not good enough there. Herrig, plus 325 by decision. You might as well take her by plus 260. So, yeah, not too much interest in this fight. But I do think Jandiroba is going to win there. Dogger pass, easy call here. It looks great. Yeah, she looks great. If she can stuff those takedowns, she's for sure live there. 3-leg added Felice because I had a dream about it. That's nice. Hopefully that hits for you. She should win, but it's just not something I would personally do there. You think this fight won't be in the optimal, unlike the JoJo would? Still nightmares of that one. It could be if Jandiroba gets a submission in maybe the first round, second round. It's likely, but there's some other things I want to target. So I will have some Jandiroba for that reason. Wrestling on the feet, no, there's no wrestling going to be happening on the feet there. It's going to be happening down on the mat. Jandiroba took Carla down 3 times. Very few girls can take Carla down. I think she subs Herrig. I like it. Nothing on the Yoder-Souza fight. We'll get to that pretty soon here in about 2 fights. Herrig can keep the fight. If you think she can keep the fight standing, it's worth a play for sure, because I do think she's a better striker. Felice looked crazy in the weigh-ins. Yeah, she did for sure. I locked in a parlay Monday or Tuesday with Cheeto and JDS. Crazy odds, huge upside. It's not for me, but yeah, if that hits, that's some good odds for you there. All right. Yo, thanks for the consistent content, Brady the GOAT. Thank you, Desmond. All right. You want to know about this next one? Yeah, this is a very important fight to talk about. We'll get into it right now. So, just touch on the last fight, not too interested in. Jandiroba Herrig from a DraftKings perspective. Maybe some Herrig for the low ownership and the upside there. But this fight is the second, most ownership I'm going to have on 2 fighters combined. And this fight is minus 425. Fight doesn't go to decision. And it's an interesting fight. It is a very interesting fight. So Herbert Burns is like what? He got to like minus 300, didn't he? And then minus 260 now. And I think it's because people are starting to realize, first of all, that line was crazy to begin with. Second of all, the weigh-ins. And Burns looked pretty awful. He weighed in, what was he, over 3 pounds over. He didn't flex on the scales. He looked, defeated on the scales. Not a good sign. Very poor body language for Herbert Burns. In the face-offs, really didn't like what I seen there as well. But I don't know. I think Burns wins. Hopefully he's able to rehydrate, recover a little bit by fight time. And, Pineda is someone who has won 26 of his wins all have came by finish. Burns, we've seen him get 2 quick finishes in the UFC. Pineda's been submitted 5 times. He's been knocked out twice. It's safe to say this fight's going to end inside the distance here. So, I don't know. Burns, 8,900. I think if he wins, it's going to be early. And honestly, same thing for Pineda. So maybe the under 1.5 is something to look at. I have not checked the odds on that. But I could see this finishing pretty early there. I don't know. I'm going to stick with Burns. I think he's going to rehydrate, look better by fight time. And if he does, this is a decent matchup for him. I think the line should be a little bit closer, and the line is heading that way. Burns on the feet, he's been making improvements. I still got to favor Pineda on the feet. But I do feel like this fight's going to get to the ground at some point, whether it's Pineda going for a takedown, whether it's Burns going for a takedown, whether Burns even pulls guard, I don't know. But I feel like it gets to the ground at some point, and at that point, Burns has the better BJJ by a decent margin. I just see Burns submitting Pineda. Unless the weight cut really did something to him. Maybe it did. Maybe the weight cut really did something to Burns. He's not going to come in here 100%. And at that point, yeah, I mean, as for a bet, I was looking at parlaying Herbert Burns with Merab earlier in the week when it was plus 110. And then yesterday that was like minus 111. And right now it's sitting at minus like 103. And I don't know if the line gets any closer, I might take a shot on that parlay, because I do think Burns is still going to win. And I don't know, the weigh-ins is making this line close a little bit too much. I expected it to close, but not this much. Minus 260. If it gets to like minus 210, maybe take a shot on a parlay there, or maybe even straight. I don't know, maybe inside the distance is something to look at as well. Minus 150. If the line can close towards like minus 110, I think that's a fantastic play on Burns. But to be honest, I'm not overly concerned about the weigh-ins. I think he's going to be fine. But it is something we got to note. As for DraftKings, like I said, this is going to be my second highest owned fight between the two fighters. I'm going to have more Burns because I think the upside is tremendous there at 8,800. But I will have some Pineda at 7,300 because obviously he's probably not going to win a decision. He's probably not going to submit Burns. If he wins, it's probably going to be by a knockout. Pineda by knockout plus 370. And if he wins, it's going to be by knockout. And any knockout, whether it's in the first, second, or third round, 7,300, he's going to probably be on the optimal lineup there. So I like both sides here. My pick is Burns. I'm thinking about maybe betting on Burns if the line gets closer. If the line stays like around this range, I'm not going to bet it. I do think there's not much value there. But if it gets closer, I'll look into it. If you want to take a shot on Pineda, it's not awful. You might as well bet him plus 320 to finish inside the distance is not awful. If you really think Burns looked so bad that it's really going to affect him during the fight, and maybe it does, but definitely a fight I want to target both sides. And I know a lot of people are out there parlaying Burns. I mean, I think he'll be fine, but man, I don't know. That weigh-ins really kind of took me off of Burns just a little bit. Burns plus Miller fight under parlay. Yeah. Thanks for talking me off the ledge on Burns. Even though Burns looked bad at weigh-ins, the fight is a clear setup for Burns, another fighter who hasn't fought in the UFC in years. Yeah, you're right. I think it's a good matchup for him. I think this gets to the ground, and when it does, I think he's going to have the advantage and possibly get a sub there. Get one will get their day Pineda via sub. Sounds... I have a parlay on Burns to finish and Merab by decision and Rosen by KO. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I like those, but personally I bet those straight. But in a parlay, you'd get some good odds there. Jonathan Martinez came in 3 pounds heavy against Frankie Saenz a few cards ago, and it deemed – yeah, exactly. And I was still 100% convinced on Martinez. But the thing is, he looked good still. He looked like he didn't try to cut that extra weight. Burns just didn't look good. He didn't look like he had he didn't look like he had the best body language. But, yeah, you're right. Martinez looked very good during weigh-ins, though. Pineda worth a small – yeah, he's worth it. He has that upside, but, man, I don't know. Just beware, Pineda probably juiced because there's no testing right now. I mean, maybe he looked pretty decent at weigh-ins. I have a plus 75-11. Dawkins, Verna, Olivia, Burns, JDS, Vera, and Miocic. Yeah, it's risky. He didn't hide his eyes in the face-off. I mean, Burns had sunglasses on, didn't he? Burns by sub, yes, that's what I'm thinking. I think whether coming in overweight is an issue or not, it depends on how hard they try it exactly. And, I mean, I don't know. Just saying, everyone thinks Burns is unstoppable. Look what happened to Volkan Jiri TKO'd. I mean, weird comparison there, but, yeah, the Burns are great. Okay, so we're going to get into the next fight here. Livian Souza versus Ashley Yoder, and a fight I'm not overly interested in. I see a lot of people with love on Souza. I see a lot of bets on her. I also see some love on Yoder. So I see kind of like back and forth on this fight. And I don't know. I feel like this is going to be, semi-close. I wasn't too impressed with Souza on the feet whatsoever. She was getting pieced up by that Sarah Froda girl, which, she's not very good. Don't really like her striking. She doesn't land much. But what really is going to separate this fight, I think, is the wrestling and the grappling. And I do see Souza doing some work on the mat. But again, if Yoder can keep this on the feet, I think it could be, a closer fight. But on the feet, I still do favor Souza a little bit. Yoder is very, very slow. I think Souza's going to have the speed advantage, the power advantage. So honestly, anywhere this fight goes, I do favor Souza. But man, I don't know. I think this Yoder can make this a close fight. As for DraftKings, Souza's plus 330 to end inside the distance. Yoder, I'm probably not going to play much Yoder. Even if she wins, I don't think she's going to get a finish. I don't think she's going to have much volume. Souza, I'll have some just in case she does get a finish. Maybe she gets a sub. Maybe she gets a knockout. We'll take a look at the numbers here. Souza has finished 77% of her fights. So, yeah, she's live for a finish. Yoder has never been finished before. She's never been knocked out. She's never been submitted. Going to be a fight I'm lower owned on, but I'll have some Souza because she does have some upside. She's going to be low owned, but something I'm not going to go out of my way and try to get Souza in my lineups. I'm not going to go out of my way and get Yoder in my lineup. So, not another fight I'm interested in. As for a betting perspective, going to pass here. Because I do think, Yoder can make this a close fight, and we never know. Maybe she, gets a split decision win. And women's MMA lately, women's MMA, I just don't feel comfortable. I mean, Souza looks like the obvious pick here. And you could say the same thing about, some of the other fights, some of the other women's fights the past couple of weeks. It looked like the obvious play at a good price, and it's a good price, but I don't know. I don't really feel confident in that. So the pick is Souza. Just, not too confident in that, but she probably gets it done. Not a fight I want to target too much on DraftKings. Souza's not a good striker, but her transitions and submissions are very aggressive. She has the card to keep going to. Exactly. Yoder kind of scores well on DraftKings when she wins. Yeah, she could. I just don't really see how she would really in this fight. Is she going to take down Souza? Is she going to get advances? Probably not. I like Yoder on DraftKings because she scores pretty well in losses. I mean, yeah, maybe as a cash play. I'm personally not going there, but if she loses and she does, put up 40, 50 points, yeah, I mean, that's a good cash play there. As for GPP, I don't really think she has that 100-plus point upside like some of these other guys there. I'm tailing someone who's been doing very well on Yoder blindly like a casual. I mean, good luck to you. No one cares about Souza and Yoder, my guy. Don't bet low levels MMA. Good. Good thinking, Mike. I'm not gonna bet that. But if people have strong reads on it, I mean, they can. It's just I'm not too confident in it. Burns, Vera, and DC. JDS and Dotson. 50 wins, 378. JDS, best dog, in my opinion. We'll get to that pretty soon there. Says by armbar, but I'm not going to bet women's MMA. Smart man there. And honestly, Cheeto has odds. I threw 50 on Cheeto. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to those fights in a second. Yoder definitely better looking. You were correct there. If Yoder is getting scored on her looks, she will get a perfect 10 each round. As Clint says, usually the uglier girl wins. All right, so we will get into the next fight here. And, finally, I mean, I think you guys have been wondering, like, am I going to place any bets on this card? And yeah, I will. This is my first bet of the night. And I have Jim Miller at, what I get that? Plus 110, 1 unit on that. I think the line's getting a little out of control here. Miller opened up like minus 170. And I touched on it a little bit on my breakdown video. I think this is a decent matchup for Jim Miller. I mean, he's very dangerous in that first round. And Pichel, just looking at the stats, he has a 20% takedown defense. It seems like whenever somebody wants to take Vince Pichel down, they get him down. And I know that's skewed because a lot of those were from Gregor Gillespie. But, Roberts was able to take him down 3 times. And Miller, maybe he's able to get him down. And also, Vince Pichel averages about 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. And I'm not too sure he wants to take down Jim Miller in this fight. So if he doesn't, we're taking a lot of Vince Pichel's game away from him. And on the feet, a lot of people are acting like, Vince Pichel is going to have a field day. And I'm not too sure about that. I think the striking's very close. Jim Miller is going to come out very good in that first round. And I think those next 2 rounds could be close if Jim Miller doesn't get Pichel out of there. But, my bold take of the week, I think Jim Miller is going to submit Pichel in that first round. We've seen Pichel submitted before. I think Miller's going to get him down one way or another, and I think he's going to submit him in that first round. But if you're wondering, can Miller win a decision? I mean, yeah, I think he can. I think he's going to win that first round, and those next 2 rounds could be close. Maybe he can squeak one of those out of there, and we're getting him at plus money. I like that quite a bit. But, of course, the popular play is Pichel. Everybody's on Pichel, so I'm going the other way from the public here, and I'm fine with that. A lot of people were on Turman last week. I was on Sanchez. But, yeah, I like Miller in the spot. I think he's the more dangerous fighter. I think if there's a finish, it could be either guy, but I do think Miller could finish in that early round. As for DraftKings, like, Pichel's going to be chalky. I mean, minus 120 favorite at 7,900 and underdog price. I mean, yeah, I'll have some because whenever he wins, he does score, and I will have quite a bit of this fight. But Jim Miller at 8,300 as a nice play there at low ownership with some upside as well. But playing both these guys on DraftKings, but like I said, I do have a bet on Jim Miller there, and I like it quite a bit. I couldn't wait any longer. Don't know if the line's going to get any wider than that, so I jumped on just before the stream. It was something I've been eyeing all week, and when I see plus 110, I like that quite a bit. So Jim Miller for me, I'm sure a lot of people are going the other way, but I just like him a lot in this fight. I like Miller, but he looked terrible away. He didn't look too good, but I mean, I'm not too worried about that. He didn't look awful. Miller looks like he found the fountain of youth. Guys look great lately. He's looked fantastic. I mean, he lost like 4 in a row just a little bit ago, and he's really put some wins together lately. Miller by sub, yeah, I can see it in the rear naked choke. Miller will be low owned on DraftKings. Yeah, he will. It seems like, pretty much everybody's on Vince Pichel. And, I mean, yeah, but he's 7,900 Vince Pichel, so it looks like everybody's going to be on him. But, yeah, Miller has upside at low ownership. So 8,300, I like that quite a bit. Maybe something I can put in maybe a single entry. I like targeting those fighters that are going to be 9% owned, 10% owned with some upside. Because if they hit, you have a very good chance of cashing, and that's my style there, targeting those low-owned fighters there. Better chance to have submission, Burns or Miller. Burns, but Miller's up there for sure. Don't like Pichel's IQ. I think he actually will go for the takedown and lose by submission, and I honestly am with you. I see, Vince Pichel maybe going for a takedown, and that's part of his game. That's part of Vince Pichel's game, and at that point, you're playing right into Jim Miller's game, and he probably will get submitted in that point, so hopefully. Which contest do you play on DraftKings? How much money do you usually risk on each card? It really depends. I think last card, like usually in like this $500, $600 range. I try to max out both of the $1 150s, a couple of the 20 maxes, and then a bunch of cash and singles. But it really depends on the card. Depends how confident I am. How's Miller's gas tank if he doesn't get the first round sub? I mean, yeah, his gas tank, typically isn't the best, especially going through those later rounds. But I can almost guarantee he's going to win the first round. So if you are on Pichel, maybe live bet him, before round 2 because you probably will get some good odds on Pichel. But I like Miller here. Weird to see that Vince is older. It is very weird. And, Miller has so much more fights. Pichel has what? Let me check. Pichel has, about 1/3 of the fights that Miller has. So Pichel is 37, Miller is 36. And Pichel only has 14 fights. It looks like Miller has, 46 fights. So that's pretty crazy to think about. But, yeah, Pichel is the older fighter there. Let's see. Look at the Miller by KO prop. Let's take a look. Miller by KO, plus 1,300. I mean, he has some power. He's capable of it. But I do think it's probably a submission if he does finish. But, yeah. Miller will make Pichel look more like – okay, that's pretty funny there. Man, I have been loving this fight card. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good card there. We're not even getting into the good fights yet. I mean, some of these fights. I mean, I like Pichel Miller, but some of these fights aren't the best. Especially earlier in the card. But, my God. All right, but yeah, these fights that we're getting up to, later in the card are very good. Pichel has way less damage. You are correct there. Vince is very good at surviving the first round, in my opinion. Vince all day, baby. Respect that call, DFS. That's why you're the man. Live bet Pichel after round 1 if it's Miller's round is solid. Yeah, I mean, if you're on Pichel, that's pretty much what I do. But I like Miller. I like him at plus money. I think that's a nice underdog bet there. So getting into the next fight, and I have another bet on this fight. So I bet this very early. I taped 2 fights extremely early last week, and I have 2 bets on those fights, and this is one of them. I got Merab Dvalishvili by decision at -135, and that is currently -170. So I have 2 units on that. It's what is it? I think it's my biggest play on the card, 2-unit play, and I like it quite a bit for a couple of reasons. I think this is I want to say it's a challenging matchup for Merab, but I do still think he gets it done. Johnson obviously has fantastic takedown defense, fantastic get-up game. But Merab, I think in that small cage, Dotson's not going to be able to use a lot of his tools, like, using his speed, moving around, and his speed is, has been diminishing, his past couple fights. I know he got that knockout against Wood, but, Merab, I like him a lot here. -240 is probably getting a little too wide. So I do like that, the decision prop at -170, because Merab's not going to finish Dotson. Dotson's never been finished, I don't think. Merab's not really a finisher. Merab has a 27% finish rate, which I believe is the worst on the whole card. So he's not going to try to come in here and submit Dotson. He's not going to come in here and try to get that ground and pound victory. He's going to try to grind Dotson. That's what he does. So I'm comfortable with the decision prop 100%. And -135, I think that's tremendous value I got. He's now -240. So I really like that bet. Like I said, it's my biggest bet on the card. As for if you want to parlay Merab, probably should have done it earlier in the week when he was like -160, -170. But I mean, I still think he wins. As for DraftKings, of course, Merab is the best play in the slate, most upside, and we get him at a good price, 8,700. He just scored like 175, 180 his last fight. The thing is, I don't think he's going to score like, a crazy amount, but I do think he gets maybe 6, 7 takedowns, maybe not much advances, maybe he lands some strikes, maybe he scores like 100, but I don't think like the upside is that crazy this week with Dotson, because Dotson's no slouch, veteran of the game, very good takedown defense, very good get-up game. I don't think he's allowed an advance in his career, which is something to worry about there. But I see a lot of people on Dotson, and I can understand in a way. I mean, I think this is Merab's toughest fight to date, but Dotson doesn't really throw much. He's more reliant on that knockout. And Merab is a very good chin. He's never been knocked out, obviously. And I don't know. I like Merab a lot in this fight. I'm assuming a lot of you guys do too as well. I think he's one of the more popular plays this week. But like I said, Merab -135 by decision, 2 units on that. I like that quite a bit. Falsh really looked gigantic compared to Dotson. Yeah, Merab looked very, very good on the scales. He looked ripped. He looked ready to go. As always, he's going to come in here with a good gas tank. And I think he can really wear out Dotson throughout the fight. Maybe the first round can be very close. Maybe, Merab's not even able to get Dotson down. Maybe he gets him down once, twice. But I think as the fight goes on, I think that's the more tired Dotson's going to get, the more easy the takedowns will come. I think Merab's going to win 3 out of 3 rounds and 2 out of 3 rounds, maybe if he loses that first. But, yeah, I like him quite a bit. Merab by sub, I mean, I hope not for my bet's sake. But, I mean, Merab by sub is plus 1,200. I mean, probably not, but I mean, if you want to take a shot, it's not awful, but he's just not a finisher. Merab looks ready, man. Like you said, 10+ takedowns. Yeah, what do you guys think? I'm going to say over under 7.5 takedowns. What do you think? Over or under 7.5 takedowns for Merab against Dotson? I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over. I think it gets like 8. I think it's 8 takedowns, but I don't know. It's going to be pretty close. Merab by sub because of his size. Yeah, Dotson has – I don't really see Dotson getting submitted, though. Dotson is easily frustrated. You are 100% correct about that. If Merab is continuously getting takedowns, Dotson will get annoyed in that. And even if he just holds Dotson up against the cage, he's going to get frustrated. And that's a lot of Merab's game, hold people up against the cage if they can't get him down and eventually getting him down. So, yeah. Over 7.5. You like the under there. Under. You're going 6. Well, over 7 for sure. Over 7.5. Dotson is good at getting up. Yeah, exactly. Awful top position for Merab. He needs to really work on that. And against the guy in Dotson who's probably going to get up right away, I think, it can lead to more takedowns, especially in those later rounds. But Dotson will clip him. I mean, he's capable, but, Merab is a very good chin. Dotson is getting up there in age. What is he, like 36 years old? He was able to go out there and finish Wood, and that was an awesome performance. But has Merab ever been finished? He has been submitted once. He's never been knocked out. But with that said, we're going to get into the next fight. It seems like Yeah, I have a fight. I have a bet on every single fight on the main card, not on the prelims. Might have to add something if I find something for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm looking at the Burns. Maybe if the line comes down at the inside the distance prop for Burns, if that line comes down a little bit, looking at maybe the Burns Pineda under is something else I'm looking at. But yeah, most of my action is coming on this main card, believe it or not. And speaking of that, I have another bet on this card, and I'm going to get a ton of hate for this pick, and that's fine. I'm good with going against the public here. And I have Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I got him at, and this sucks, minus 150. I bet it last week. He's now down to minus 120. I really wasn't expecting that, but thinking back about it, I mean, I should have thought that nobody knows who Rozenstruik is. He's not a big name. He's not an exciting. He's not a marketable guy, and Junior Dos Santos, everybody knows who he is. I should have known that the money would come in on JDS, but I don't know. I didn't see it. I was able to tape this fight earlier in the week. I liked what I saw. The first thing I looked at was, does JDS go for takedowns? It's the very first thing I looked for on tape, and the answer is no, not really. I mean, and since 2012, he has 2 takedowns. So 2 takedowns in 8 years. And then I was also looking at the Ngannou fight. Was he coming in there with a wrestling game plan? Was he looking for takedowns? No, he wasn't. And that's just red flags to me. And I know a lot of people are on Dos Santos, and I've gotten a million comments about it. And some of the comments are, JDS looks like he's in fantastic shape. And he does, but, how's that going to help his chin? How's that going to help him in the fight, He can be in the best shape of his life, but, what's that going to do for his chin? And I've seen, people saying JDS is going to go for takedowns and submit Rozenstruik easy. JDS is a black belt. And I mean, if he went in there, if he did go for more takedowns, yeah, I'd consider picking him here, but he just doesn't do that. And, watching his last 2 fights, especially, Dos Santos leaves so many openings. He's making so many mistakes. He's just not the fighter he used to be. He's a lot slower. He's and he's leaving these openings. He's making the mistakes. Like against Ngannou, he threw a big winging, I think it was an overhand right. And then Ngannou was able to easily counter him. It looked like he didn't even touch him, and he hurt him and knocked him out. And then against Curtis Blades, he left a lot of openings. He was getting hit way too much by Curtis Blades, and got knocked out by Curtis Blades on the feet, which is not a good sign there. And I think people are really underestimating Rozenstruik's power. I mean, he knocks down somebody with a jab. He knocked out Overeem in the final seconds of their fight. Plenty of knockouts. And I mean, yeah, he got taken down by Junior Albini, but he was able to get up and get a knockout after that, after that round. And, that's something he's been working on, his takedown defense. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be tested here. If I knew JDS was going to come out here and go for takedowns, yeah, I would probably pick JDS, but he's probably not going to. And I also want to mention that the small cage, you could say it favors JDS because he's going to wrestle all that. I don't think he will. So I think it's going to favor Rozenstruik because I think it's going to, make them engage a little bit more, give them more opportunities to touch the chin of Dos Santos. And Dos Santos' durability is a huge question for me. And I know you can say, Rozenstruik was knocked out 3 months ago, but that was by Francis Ngannou. You can't look too much into that. I don't think, obviously Dos Santos doesn't have the power. Nobody has the power of Francis Ngannou. And, looking at, the fighters themselves, like Rozenstruik has the power advantage. Rozenstruik has the durability advantage. Like Rozenstruik's durable. He is. He got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. I mean, that's I'm not looking into that too much. And Dos Santos has been knocked out 5 times. But yeah, I like Rozenstruik a lot. The line is coming down. I don't know why, but I can understand why. On paper, it's JDS all day. You're right. I mean, all the stats are in JDS's favor. The name value, he's a legend. JDS is a legend. We don't know who Rozenstruik is. Rozenstruik just came off a knockout loss a couple months ago. On paper, yeah, it's JDS all day, and I can now see why that money is coming in. But I like Rozenstruik a lot. I think he's going to knock out JDS. I could be wrong, but I'm confident in it. And the line is getting closer towards a pick'em. So like I said, I did get Rozenstruik at minus 150. I put 1.5 units on that. Don't know if I'll add any more. Maybe I do, but I'm probably just going to let it ride there. And as for DraftKings, like 8,400 for Rozenstruik, I think is a gift, especially if he gets that knockout. And he's going to be lower owned than he should be because the whole world is on JDS. It feels like it's really me and a couple other guys against the world here. I mean, seems like everybody's on JDS, especially the public is all over JDS this week. So I mean, that's fine. I'm cool with going against everybody. It's cool. But JDS on DraftKings 7,800. Is he going to knock out Rozenstruik? Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. If he wins, I think it's going to be him sticking to the outside. winning a decision, just outpointing Rozenstruik. I do think he's a better striker. But how much is that going to score in DraftKings? Probably not a lot, And I do think he's going to be very high owned because, like I said, everybody's on him. So I don't know. I like Rozenstruik a lot on DraftKings. I will have some Dos Santos just in case he knocks out Rozenstruik. Don't think it's going to happen, but I think if Dos Santos wins, it's sticking to the outside. I think he's not going to have a good, I think the small cage is really not going to allow that to happen. And I think, Rozenstruik's going to catch him. I think he's going to catch him pretty early in the first round and knock him out. So, that's my third bet of the night. I like it quite a bit. And let's see it here. Ngannou would have knocked out Sherman Tank with that rush. He would have knocked out anybody, really. Rosen round 1 KO. This is Lewis Olenek all over again. Got Rozenstruik by bad KO. Wow, everybody's agreeing with me. I did not expect this. Where's the JDS guys at? I feel like Rosen wins, but value is good enough for me to place a few bucks on JDS. I mean, yeah, there was some value, especially early in the week, but now, man, come on. They're plus 110. I don't think so. I don't think there's much value there. I think all the value is on Rozenstruik at this point. Rozenstruik is a monster. He's very underrated. It seems like every single fight, Rozenstruik gets underrated by everybody. I remember people were picking, Crowder against him. People were picking Arvlovsky against him. Of course, people were picking over him. Like everybody, picks against this guy. And, fan favorite JDS, I get it. I really do. JDS is going to be on the back foot the whole fight. And, how good is that going to work out in that smaller cage, And like I said, he leaves so many openings. Small cage just favor wrestlers. However, it favors power punchers, possibly more. Fantastic point. All right, guys, come on. Disagree with me. I was expecting more people to be on JDS. I've been getting crap all week about this, so I can't wait to see how this fight plays out. JDS is always optimistic until he gets punched. Yeah, the durability is a big question there. I like the under 1.5 in the JDS Rosen. Fight at even money. Someone's getting KO'd or sub early in that small cage. I like it. I do think someone's probably going to get knocked out. Are we there? I don't know what happened. All right, let's see here. All right, are we back? All right, let me know if we're back. But JDS is washed up. All right, yeah, we're back. Cool. All right, I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Come on, StreamYard. But, man. All right, thank you, guys. We are back. Don't know what happened, but, thankfully we're back. But, getting into the next fight, like I said, I do like Rozenstruik quite a bit. Minus 120, I think, is a gift. But, JDS is obviously live. But I like Rozenstruik in this fight. So we're going to get into the co-main event now. And this is a fight I'm really looking forward to. And I do have another bet on this fight, actually. And I was looking for ways to bet this fight because I saw a couple different spots I liked. And some things I want to point out. So O'Malley was like, what, minus 320 earlier in the week, which is pretty insane there. But the line is now coming down to minus 250. And let's take a look. O'Malley plus 105 to win inside the distance. O'Malley plus 145 by KO. O'Malley plus 175 by decision. This fight is going to be a very good fight, a very close fight. I think that, O'Malley is going to be very, tested for the first time in his career against Marlon Vera, a guy I'm very high on in Marlon Vera. And I don't know, this fight is so hard to call, and you wouldn't think it would be that way because O'Malley is such a big favorite, but I do think it's going to be very close. So I'll tell you guys the bet I made, and I'll tell you guys what I was looking at as well. And the bet I was looking at was, one second. The bet I was looking at was O'Malley plus 175 by decision. But I went O'Malley Vera goes to decision at plus 105. Plus money there. I could have took the O'Malley by decision, but I can see a scenario where Vera wins by decision. So both of these guys have never been finished, obviously. Vera in 24 fights has never been finished. Very, very good chin. Is O'Malley the first one to do it? I don't know. And obviously O'Malley's never been finished as well. But I like that. I like that the fight goes to decision at plus 105, plus money there. I just think Vera is very tough. I don't really see him getting finished. And I don't know. I see a lot of people taking shots on Vera. And first of all, I think you would have got your most value doing that a couple days ago. when he was like plus 255, plus 260. But I mean, there's still some value there. I'm picking O'Malley, and I'll tell you why. I just think he's the better striker. I think he's a very good striker, and Vera gets hit a lot. He leaves a lot of openings to get hit, and I think O'Malley will, have a lot of success on the feet, especially in the early going. But if Vera's able to clinch up, take O'Malley down, make this a dirty fight, it can get very, very close, very interesting. So I was tempted to go O'Malley by decision, but I took the safer route. And I went plus 105 by just going to decision. I went the safer route there because I can see, O'Malley winning that first round and Vera maybe sneaking, 2 of those last 3, But I think O'Malley's going to have success on the feet. Vera averages less than a takedown per 15 minutes. And I'm going with O'Malley still. But if whoever's taking a shot on Marlon Vera, I don't hate that at all. I almost did it myself earlier in the week. But I decided to pass. I do think O'Malley wins. I think he's the better fighter. I just think it's going to be a war, and O'Malley's going to be tested, and I'm really looking forward to it. So who do you guys have in this fight? Who do you guys have winning? Great stats and no finishes. Play that and get good odds, and because everyone is going to take under and assume O'Malley knockout. Yeah, I think that's a lot of what the public is thinking. O'Malley's going to get an early finish, but I do think Vera's chin holds up. I like that goes to decision there. If anything, honestly, maybe Vera gets a late finish as well. All right. O'Malley has never been tested. Cliche. I mean, it's true. He's never been tested. I don't know what you want me to say. O'Malley to win, hedge with Vera by decision. What happened the last time we put our money on a hyped up white boy? Enough said. I mean, I guess, yeah. Cheeto will derail the hype train. I think Sugar Show is going to come at some point 1 unit on that. KO by O'Malley is what? Minus plus 145. Okay. You idiots are looking at a value bet, but how many times you lose to the bookies tricking you? I don't really know what you're talking about there. Sugar should be minus 500. No, he should not. Anyway, I play minus 120. Fight doesn't go to decision. I mean, we're going another way there. Good luck to you. O'Malley will lose first time now. Look on the face of Vera at the weigh-ins. He knows. I mean, both these guys looked ready to go. I thought O'Malley, looked very, very good. Looked ready to go. He looked big in there. O'Malley via decision, probably a bad decision. And maybe it's a controversial decision because, who does the UFC really want to push to win this? Obviously it's O'Malley. So maybe, Vera, on the people's scorecards wins it, but maybe the judges give it to O'Malley. I don't know. Maybe give it to the undefeated guy. Vera all day. Exactly, Josh. I don't really know what he's talking about there. So yeah, I didn't even touch on the DraftKings part. Okay, so O'Malley at 9,200. Maybe he gets the first round knockout. Maybe. I don't think so. But if he does, I mean, that's good. But still, that's a big price tag. And, Vera, obviously at 7,000 is a fantastic option, especially in cash. I'll tell you guys right now, I have Vera in cash because I don't think he's going to get finished. I think he's going to take this to a decision and maybe even win that decision. And at 7,000, if he wins a decision, it's going to be probably high output. Maybe he gets a finish. I think there's a lot of upside there. And another thing, the ownership on O'Malley is going to be, huge. Everybody loves the Sugar Show. Charlie Chips, he loves the Sugar Show. So all his ownership is going to go to O'Malley. So maybe you can get, go a little bit lower owned to O'Malley, But so yeah, I'm going to play probably more Vera than O'Malley, believe it or not. But I might be a little bit less owned on this fight because it's going to be extremely high owned. I'm betting on both these fighters to go for the finish. People's main event. Yeah, a lot of people think that for sure. Stack O'Malley and Vera. Yeah, I like it. I like that. O'Malley is a selected parlay piece for me. Not sure if I can trust him too much. I mean, if it gets a little bit closer, like if the line gets closer, he's not an awful parlay piece, but I just bet the fight goes to decision because I think it will. I won't touch O'Malley with a stolen. I mean, that's probably a good idea there. Vera runs 10 miles per day. What? Vera is the modern. Okay. So we're gonna get into the main event here, and before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you all for hanging out. We have 250 people in there. Really appreciate it a lot. If all you guys can hit the like button, would mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Almost to I think like 5,500 subscribers. So any subscribe helps. Thank you guys a lot. And also, if you guys want, I'm doing a contest. Go to my prediction video that I posted on, I think, a Tuesday, and first of all, like the video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and then comment how many significant strikes you think that DC and Stipe will combine for. I'm going to give the winner, whoever gets closest, $25. Nothing crazy, to something to show thanks for all you guys and your support. And if you hit the amount right on the dot, I'm going to double that 25 to 50. So hopefully somebody's able to get the amount of significant strikes. So after this video, go check that out. And just a fun giveaway like I'd like to do every month there. So, all right, man, what a fight. What a fight we have here. Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. And wow, like this is such a tough fight to call for me. And the whole, the public is on Stipe. We see that. Everybody's on Stipe. And I mean, Stipe looked so good at the weigh-ins. Did you guys notice that? He looked fantastic. He looked in the best shape of his life. And I was thinking, I was going to, watch the weigh-in, see how it all plays out, see how both of them looked on the scales. And maybe I would, I said maybe I would bet DC, but I can't do that. I can't do that after I saw Stipe on the scales, after I saw DC. I think Stipe, he looks so much better. And, I thought that, DC would come into this fight with a better game plan, and maybe he does. And maybe he goes for takedowns early. But a lot of you guys are making good points. I see a lot of good points out there, when you guys are commenting on my videos, like it's going to tire out DC using the wrestling. And yeah, maybe it does. So I am concerned about the cardio. He's 41 years old. He's getting up there in age. I'm still leaning with DC, but it is a very, very slight lean. Like this fight it honestly can go either way. I could see DC, and the thing about it is DC's been winning. He was winning the third round, and a little bit of that fourth round as well. He's been winning like 90% of the action between the two. I think he's the better fighter. I think he's the more skilled fighter everywhere. He showed that as the last two fights with him. But the thing is, like in a 5-round fight, like will his cardio hold up? Stipe made that adjustment to the body. Like will he go back to that right away? And I see that argument a lot, and I think DC is obviously going to be prepared for that. But I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. After watching the weigh-ins, I'm not going to bet DC, but I do have action on this main event, and I have the over 2.5. And I mean, I like that quite a bit. I got it at minus 140. I put 1.5 units on that. That's my fifth and final bet, and I like it a lot. I think the fight can play out a lot like the last fight, and a lot of you people are on Stipe. I think that's a fine bet there as well, because I think if Stipe wins, it is in the later rounds, And I can see DC winning a decision. I can see him winning 4 out of the 5 rounds, 3 out of the 5 rounds. He was doing it the last fight, So I do like the over 2.5. But I don't know. I think there's going to be a finish late. I could also see Cormier winning a decision. I don't see Stipe winning a decision. I don't think he's the superior fighter, but I do think he has the superior cardio. I think he maybe the better durability. I mean, Cormier's been knocked out twice or 3 times, and Steve has been knocked out once. So I don't know. So this is a tough fight to call. Let me know what you guys think about this. It seems like everybody is on Stipe this week. Stipe has worked out well. His Instagram is stacked of Olympian-like photos. Stipe is my pick. Cormier was a light heavyweight. He should have the cardio this fight. I mean, he should. I'm expecting him to come in here with better cardio, but man, I don't know. I'm not too sure what I feel like. In the weigh-ins, like DC looked okay, but Stipe made him look so much worse. DC always looks poorly. Stipe looks like a giant compared to DC. He does, and he has the past couple fights, so we can't look too much in that. I saw DC talking to Ariel. He's been working on adjustments. Yeah, for sure. And of course, he has been. But man, I don't know. I'm going to lean with DC very slightly, but not going to bet it. I don't have the confidence to bet it. If DC was at plus money, I would take a shot, but he's not. So for everybody betting, Stipe, I don't hate it. Plus money, it's a fine bet, but it's really a 50-50 fight, guys. I don't, not too much more to say. I think DC could win the whole fight, and then at any second, Stipe can, knock him out, I was on Stipe at first, and I'm going, yeah, me too. I'm going back and forth here. How can a 41-year-old chicken-loving DC come with better cardio now? No way. I think he laid off the chicken this fight, but, man. Yeah, you could bet the inside the distance, but it's minus 260. Fight doesn't go to decision. I bet the over at minus 140 because I do think it will get probably to the 3rd round, or at least maybe the 4th round as well. So I do like that over there for my 5th bet of the night there. I love the over 2.5. I have 2.5 units on it. And yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day. He said that he bet the fight starts round 3. I forget who it was, but I like that bet as well. The fight starts round 3 is like minus 110, but I took the over 2.5. I like that quite a bit. All right, so guys, what I'm going to do now is just go through my most confident picks and then go over my bets, and then I'll answer about 5 minutes of questions. And just wanted to let you guys know I will be on Odds HQ, I believe, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time in 1 hour exactly. Just breaking down the card a little bit more with some great guys on there. I think, Mo's going to be on there, MMA Prediction Group, Boston Nick, all those guys on there. So go check that out. Show me some support. Give me a nice comment in there. Really means a lot. Go like that stuff over there. But so just going off my bets, they're all on the main card. Didn't plan for it to be that way. That's just how it worked out. So in the Stipe Miocic fight, I have the over the 2.5 at minus 145, 1.5 units on that. The Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera, I have fight goes to decision at plus 105, 1 unit on that. The Rosenstruck fight, I have Rosenstruck minus 150. I bet it like a week early. 1.5 units on that. He's now minus 120. I think that's very good value there. Merab Dvalishvili, this is my biggest bet of the night. Merab by decision, minus 135, 2 units. I love that bet. I love that bet a ton. If he wins, it's probably going to be by decision. I think he gets it done. And then my last bet is an underdog play here with Vince Pichel, plus 110, 1 unit on that. Those are my 5 plays. I mean, I like them quite a bit. Hopefully hit 4 out of 5 like we did last week. Had 5 bets last week, went 4-1. Hopefully we continue that this week. But just going over my most confident plays here. And really, there's not too much. A lot of these fights are close, but Merab, I'm pretty confident in Merab. I like Rosenstruck quite a bit. Herbert Burns, I mean, the weigh-ins kind of swayed me off a little bit, but I still think he can win there. Other than that, a lot of these fights are up in the air. Sean O'Malley, I think, wins, but, man, it's going to be pretty close. I didn't even touch on the main event for DraftKings. I'm going 100% owned on this fight. A lot of you guys are asked, should you stack in cash? Yes, stack in cash 100%. It's not even a question. And then as for stacking in GPPs, I mean, it would have worked out the last fight, but personally, I'll have a little bit just in case, but I'm not really going to look into that too much. And going to have a slight lean on Cormier, about 55-45 Cormier. Was thinking like 60-40, earlier in the week, but after seeing weigh-ins, I'm going to keep it at 55-45, keep it stand there with a slight lean on Cormier. As for underdogs, I think I have a chance. Marlon Vera is a fine underdog. Obviously, Stipe. Dos Santos, I think, has a chance, but just don't see him scoring well on DraftKings. Dotson, maybe. Obviously, I like Jim Miller quite a bit. Daniel Pineda, if Burns, if the weight cut really affected him. And then other than that, Chavez is a fine DraftKings play as well. Dawkins, a decent DraftKings play. And then I think Tony Kelly's live as well, but not going to have too much in that fight. But I am going to be doing a quick betting breakdown video tomorrow. I try to get that out like early in the morning for tomorrow for you guys. Just going over pretty much a condensed version of this, just strictly betting, talking about some of my bets. And then can you talk about your 5 plays one more time? I mean, message me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. I'll talk about them with you on there. But is it risky? It's risky to fade the main event. 100% it's risky. What bets does this? What does he have? Fat guy? What? Who is your 2 locks of the night? Really no such thing as a lock, but I guess, man, it was Merab and Burns, but, man, I don't know with Burns anymore. But Merab and Burns are probably my favorite. Any free streaming sites? Let's get it, Mike. Maybe this is crazy, but consider DC via sub 8 plus 850. I mean, maybe I don't see it, but besides Jim Miller straight up and Merab by decision, what were his other bets? Real quick, Miller plus 110, Rosenstruck minus 150, Merab decision, Stipe DC over 2.5, and O'Malley Vera goes to decision. Who are your top 3 scorers in order on FanDuel? Probably Merab. I want to say Burns, and then Brown if he wins, and then Rosenstruck's up there as well, and then of course the winner of DC Cormier. I think those are some fighters you want to target on there. Are the odd squads on? We're going live in about 55 minutes. Who are the 2 underdogs we should look at to bet? I like Miller, and then a lot of people are on Stipe at plus money. I don't hate that. But the only underdog I'm betting is Miller. In cash, would you play both of the main fights? Yeah. It's I like it. I like that. Most confident parlay that I can go all out on. I wouldn't go all out on any parlay this week. It's not really a parlay card. I was thinking Burns and Marab, but after seeing Burns, probably going to stay off of that. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get ready for my live stream, maybe get some dinner or something. Thank you all for hanging out. Thanks for the support. It means a ton. Thank you for everybody that has signed up on Patreon. Really means a ton to me. Make sure you guys like this video. I appreciate that a bunch. Also, subscribe if you haven't yet. Trying to work me up to 6,000 subscribers. Like I said, I'm going to be posting a short video tomorrow morning on Saturday. Check that out. You guys can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Ask me any questions. My DMs are open at any time. And then also on Instagram, I'm on there, DFS by the numbers. I'll be posting my bets tomorrow. I might add a bet. There are a couple spots I'm looking at, especially talking with the odds spot tonight. Maybe something will pop up, but I like the 5 bets I have. I'll maybe add one more, not much more than that. But thank you all for hanging out. And everybody have a good night. Have a good night tomorrow. Hopefully win some money. We've been very hot lately. Hopefully we keep it going. Thank you, Mike, for watching. Thank you, Brandon, for watching. Good luck, Gaming Wolf. Thank you, sir. Good luck and wish you the best. You're a super guy, man. Thank you, sir. Anyone think Cheeto's actually live dog? Yeah, I think he's live there. Thank you, Miles. All right, good luck, guys, and let's win some money.